This light bulb has been burning since 1901. Not on and off, on. Through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, the moon landing, the invention of the internet. It has never been replaced. It's barely ever been switched off. It is still glowing, right now, tonight, in a firehouse in California. It was never supposed to be possible. Now look at the bulb in your own home. You've replaced dozens of them, maybe hundreds. The dead one goes in the trash, the new one goes in, you never think about it again. Because a bulb burns out. It's the one thing that everyone knows about a light bulb. It isn't true. The same glass, same filament, the same basic physics as the one in California, and yours lasts about a year. That one has lasted 120. So why does yours die? Not bad luck, not wear, not even physics. It was a decision, written down, and signed. Behind every bulb that ever died, right on schedule, there is a machine. Most people never see it. Watch. Let's open the file. Geneva, 1924. The largest light bulb makers on Earth send men to one single room. Osram from Germany, Philips from the Netherlands, Associated Electrical from Britain, and General Electric reaching in from America. Competitors, rivals, sitting down to sign an agreement together. Officially, they were there to standardize the light bulb. What they actually did was build a cartel. It even took a name. The Greek god of light, Phœbus. The first thing they did was carve up the planet. Each company got its own territory, its prices, its share. They agreed not to compete. But the real machinery pointed at something smaller, the bulb itself. Because by the 1920s, bulbs had a problem. They were getting too good. 1,500 hours, 2,000, some rated for even 2,500. A bulb that lasts is good for you. It's catastrophic for the people who sell them. A customer who doesn't come back is a customer you've lost. So the cartel solved it. They picked a number, a maximum, a ceiling on how long a bulb would be allowed to live. 1,000 hours. Bulbs already lasted longer than that. They had to be made worse. This was not the limit of the technology. It was a limit they chose. A ceiling, assigned. And they enforced it. Every member shipped sample bulbs to one lab in Switzerland, burned around the clock, measured, logged in a ledger. And if your bulb lasted too long, you were fined. This is the part that makes it undeniable. The fines weren't a threat, they were a schedule, a written table. The longer your bulb lasted past 1,000 hours, the more you paid. Pages of penalties in Swiss francs for the crime of building something too durable. They even wrote down their own motive. They said that they didn't want to slip back into what they called the era of long life lamps. They didn't want to sink back into, their words, the same mire. And this was not a few European companies. Phœbus reached almost everywhere bulbs were sold. Tungs Gram in Hungary, companies in Japan, in China, in Brazil. General Electric couldn't legally join. American law forbade it. So it joined through a separate company it had set up overseas and took its cut from the outside. One room in Geneva now reached into nearly every socket on Earth. And you paid for it, not in some abstract way. Every bulb that you replaced didn't need replacing. Every one, for decades, across the entire world. Better designs existed. Longer lasting bulbs were patented, and then bought up, shelved, or quietly ignored. The better bulb wasn't impossible. It was unprofitable. And it worked. You can measure it. Before the cartel, the average bulb was pushing past 1,700 hours. Within a few years under Phœbus, the average had been cut nearly in half, down to 1,000. And it stayed. An entire industry, in writing, building a worse product on purpose, and punishing anyone who didn't. The crime was longevity. This is the machine. Bulbs that looked independent, competing brands, separate companies, a whole shelf of choices, were wired to a single decision, made in one room decades before you were born. And here's the detail that should stay with you. The company that made the bulb in California, Shelby Electric, was bought by General Electric, one of the names in the room. Your bulb doesn't die because bulbs die. It dies because someone decided when. The cartel itself collapsed by 1939, broken up by war and lawsuits, but it had already proven the idea worked. And an idea that works doesn't need a secret meeting anymore. It just needs the same incentive, and the incentive is everywhere. Once you see the wiring, you can't stop. The phone that gets slower the season the new one ships. The printer that costs less than the ink. The battery sealed in so deep that replacing it costs more than the entire product. The appliance that dies the month its warranty ends. None of these are broken. They're working exactly as designed. We're trained to ask one question when something breaks. Why did it break? It keeps your eyes on the object, the bulb, the phone, the thing in your hand. It's the wrong question. The right question looks past the object, at the decision behind it, and the room it was made in. Don't ask why it broke. Ask who decided when. There's a bulb in California that never got the memo. It's still burning. We'll put this one back on the shelf. There are others.